Hey friends, Ash here with Gents with another fragrance review. Today I'm taking a look at the fragrance Pepe Jeans London for Helm. This fragrance actually reminds me a lot of another fragrance out there that a lot of you are going to be really familiar with, that a lot of you probably own. One of the more popular club fragrances over the last number of years, actually. So in this video, I'm gonna break this one down, let you know what it reminds me of, let you know if I think it's something you should check out or not. This is a cheapie after all, so it doesn't have to be great to be worth the money. We'll take a look at the presentation, like always, and kind of just have a conversation here about Pepe Jeans. So let's jump into this. First off, let's take a quick look at the presentation. The box here, as you can see, pretty big. So here is the front of the box for Pepe Jeans London, and yeah, that is textured. It pops out a little bit. There's nothing on the top of the box or the sides, just has kind of a color gradient, and nothing on the back either. And then on the bottom is where you're gonna find your ingredients and your batch code for Pepe Jeans. Next, let's take a look at the bottle, and yeah, this does resemble a martini shaker. That's what they're going for here. So it looks like something that a bartender might have. So here's a good look at the bottle. As you can see, it's got this textured glass that goes around the bottom of the bottle here, and then you have the martini shaker top, and it says Pepe Jeans right here in the front. And then on the back it says, "Not to be taken," which to me is really stupid if I'm being honest. The cap does click into place, and I'll waste a couple sprays for you. It's a pretty good atomizer. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, not to be taken. I'm not super familiar at all, to be honest, with Pepe Jeans, the clothing company. I'm assuming Pepe Jeans is a clothing company. So I don't know if not to be taken is maybe like their tagline. If that is their tagline, to me it's a pretty bad one. I mean, I don't really understand what that's trying to get across. Not to be taken. You would think it would be not to be taken lightly or something like that. But no, just not to be taken. So don't take this bottle. Don't take it. Interestingly enough, this fragrance is dedicated to Generation Z, which is apparently people born between 96 and 2010. So if you were born in 96, at this point you're probably 23. And at that age, yeah, I absolutely see you going out and buying fragrances and things. If you were born in 2010, that means you're probably 9. I don't imagine that there are too many 9-year-olds out there saying, "Dad, get me that new Pepe Jeans." I want to go hit on all the 3rd graders, and if I don't have the new Pepe Jeans, they're not going to think that I smell sexy. That's what Pepe Jeans says they're doing. So any of you 9-year-olds out there, Pepe Jeans is coming for you. Now notice-wise, the opening to this sounds like it would be really appealing to a lot of you out there. It's got orange, bergamot, and pineapple. That orange bergamot citrus combo, that's tried and tested. That's in hundreds of fragrances out there. We all know that that works really well, and it can come across a number of different ways. When you hear pineapple though, I know that 99% of you out there immediately go, Aventus. But in this situation, in the Pepe Jeans not to be taken situation, pineapple does not mean Aventus. In the mid it has lavender and nutmeg, and then in the base, coffee, vanilla, and amberwood, which I talk about all the time on this channel. I'll spare you guys the amberwood speech that I seem to give every time that comes up, just for this video. If you're interested in hearing me talk about amberwood, watch basically any video that I've done over the past 3 months. You'll probably have about a 75% chance of amberwood coming up in any of those videos within that last 3-month time frame up until now. So yeah, this note breakdown is a little bit interesting. Pepe Jeans is coming right out and telling you, hey, we're trying to appeal to younger people out there. So you start thinking, oh, it's probably gonna be sweet then. You know, you're gonna go for that sweetness. How far are you gonna take it? You're gonna make it bubblegummy, you're gonna go the Invictus route, you're gonna do something different with it. You see the citrus, you see the pineapple, and then your mind starts to think Aventus, pineapple, Aventus. Lavender and nutmeg in the mid, that's fairly standard, especially the lavender. And then in the base, they throw you off a little bit again. You've got the vanilla, the amberwood, so you expect that, but then coffee. So what is Pepe Jeans? In the opening, to me, it comes across like it's in the same family or style of fragrance as Versace Eros. Now it isn't the exact same as Eros in the opening. You do have a little bit of pineapple, but if I'm being honest, it's nowhere near as nice or attention grabbing as something like Aventus or even Pineapple Vintage. It just isn't. It doesn't come across like a real pineapple to me at all. In fact, what comes across the most in the opening to me is the citrus combo, but it's not a bright, fresh, juicy citrus, it's muted. And then you have a slightly dusty vanilla over top that with lavender and a touch of coffee. Now I know that doesn't sound like Eros when you hear that, but it is in that style of fragrance. Like La Nuit de l'Homme Eau Electrique, that's not an exact clone of Eros or anything like that, but when you smell it, do you smell where it was inspired by Eros or possibly based off of Eros's DNA a little bit? You do, and it's the same thing here. The coffee is not in your face, it's kind of like a base note in the opening of the fragrance. It's like the coffee is here, then you have a tiny, tiny touch of that citrus, honestly, not a whole lot. Maybe an even smaller touch of the pineapple, if you want to call it that. And then mainly the lavender and vanilla sitting on top. Now, if you go to Fragrantica, as of this video when I'm shooting it, pineapple is actually the highest rated note. So people have gone on there and basically said, oh, this is a pineapple bomb. Don't listen to that, it's not true. Unless people out there have a bottle of Pepe Jeans, which is completely different than how mine smells, which it shouldn't. There's not a whole lot of pineapple in here, so don't get super psyched about that. As this one dries down, it starts to get closer to Eros. In the opening, it's not super close, but as it dries down, they do get closer together in how they smell. Essentially, to my nose, the way vanilla is used in Pepe Jeans is very, very similar to the way it's used in Versace Eros and all of those fragrances that are in that Eros-ish style of scent. Of course, as this one dries down, you are gonna pick up a little bit of that Amberwood, and that's gonna give you sort of an ambroxan woody type feel as it dries down. Is Pepe Jeans a super complicated fragrance with all kinds of nuances and changes as it dries down? Not really. Does the coffee kind of come and then go as it heads into the dry down where you pick up more of that vanilla and lavender and amberwood? Sure, yeah. But this one is a little on the simplistic side of things. It's essentially a fragrance made for younger guys looking for compliments on a night out, where you may not want to spend the money to get something like a Versace Eros, for example, or going a different direction and buying something like Ultramall or even a classic like 1 Million. Because ultimately, price-wise, what we're talking about for Pepe Jeans is a fragrance that you can buy with the full presentation in a 100ml bottle for 25 bucks, sometimes less. This is definitely a cheapie. And honestly, for a cheapie, it smells pretty good. Even in the opening, this one doesn't have that alcohol kind of blast that cheap fragrances have oftentimes, where you spray it on and for the first 3, 4, 5 minutes, it's got this strong alcohol scent coming off your skin. I don't get that with this one at all. It does smell better after you let it dry down on your skin for a few minutes. You know, you let it settle in, but it doesn't come across like an immediate slap of rubbing alcohol to the face. Is Pepe Jeans ultimately anything mind-blowing? Is it anything super unique or new? Not really. It's almost like it takes that Versace Eros DNA, makes it more affordable, and it also has kind of a neat bottle. I mean, this is definitely its own thing. Nothing else out there looks like Pepe Jeans over here, despite this stupid not to be taken tagline. In my opinion, you could wear this day or night. It's got some versatility to it, just like Versace Eros. And again, I need to make it clear, this is not a clone of Eros, just in that same similar style, that Eros DNA, almost like you took it, added coffee in, added pineapple, but not really. Carried over the same vanilla from Eros and went with it here, Pepe Jeans. But yeah, you could use this in similar situations as that one. So day or night, to me, this one comes across more fall or winter, potentially spring as well, though not necessarily something I'd reach for in summer in the high heat. Just because of the way the powdery sweetness comes off, the little touch of coffee that's in here, this isn't really something that I think of as a summertime scent. Longevity, surprisingly good for a really cheap fragrance. Probably doesn't hurt that the atomizer sprays out a ton of fragrance every time that you press down on it. I've gotten 6+ hours each time that I've worn it, so nothing to complain about there. Again, this is a very cheap affordable fragrance, and your longevity is actually above average through the mid. You can pick this up really well. When I wore this side by side with Versace Eros, it was right there with it. It wasn't getting overwhelmed, it wasn't getting overshadowed, so it's solid. When I first checked this out and a first impression, I wasn't super impressed. The first time I wore the soft skin, again, not super impressed, but the more that I've given it wear, the more that I've given it chances, it's grown on me a little bit, and now I think it's a really solid pickup for the price. Like I said, not super unique, but is it something that a ton of guys out there could get a lot of use from? Absolutely. And I also saw on Fragrantica where this was getting some comparisons to Diesel Fuel for Life. I haven't had that fragrance in years. I actually owned it back probably 5-6 years ago, something like that, but I gave it away to my brother. I remember that fragrance had a strong, very prominent raspberry note. That's about the only thing I remember about the fragrance, to be honest. That and the fragrance, the Diesel Fuel for Life, being really synthetic. That's about all I remember. To the best of my knowledge, this does not smell anything like Diesel Fuel for Life, but again, it's been years since I've smelled that, so take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, guys, that is my opinion, my take on Pepe Jeans. Surprisingly good for the price. If you've smelled Pepe Jeans, not to be taken, let me know below in the comments what you think about this one. In my opinion, this one is going to appeal a little bit more to those younger guys out there, which makes sense, since Pepe Jeans said they're targeting a market that includes 9-year-olds. As always, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.